As Agatha Christie taught us, we reserve the explanations for the last chapter. And that is what will be happening tonight. Welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns. And this is the final episode of our mini-campaign of Dirty Secrets, Emerald Tempest. It has been an awesome ride, and we are almost at the end of it. This is a story game that takes on the detective genre by having the players introduce story elements and suspicious characters that ultimately form a pattern that the investigator puts, as the investigator is putting the pieces together. One player is the investigator, and the others are authorities. Let's go around and introduce everyone. And again, I'll just go around and ask folks to say who they are and anything from at all from the campaign that they enjoyed doing as an authority or as in the investigator, which we'll get to in a moment. But we shall begin with Lulu. Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lulu. In this game, I have been playing Poppy. Mostly. I also played several other characters, but I think one of my favorite things to have been doing in this campaign was playing the bartender whose quote was known as stab, stab, sharp knife, I believe. Yeah. Memorable NPCs.
It's wonderful. So wonderful. And let us move on to Anino.
Hey, I'm Anino. I think my favorite part of this whole story was probably making Danny super uncomfortable about finding out her mother's relationships. That's pretty much it. I lived for those moments.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Neat. Let's see. I think over the last few sessions, I think I've been primarily doing... last session, I really enjoyed playing Alexandria Gorovich. I don't know why, but just Russian mobsters, I just enjoy them way too much. But it just happens sometimes. Mm-hmm. Let us then move to our investigator, Dingo. Hello.
Hello, I'm Dingo. Sorry for the internet drop there. I've been playing the investigator, Danny Sullivan, and I think my favorite, I was also going to say that one of my favorite things that has come up through this campaign is like everything about Danny's mom, just like her weird, like everyone's sleeping with her mom, which makes her really uncomfortable, and like she's somehow involved in all of this. And yeah, and my other favorite thing is obviously the relationship between Danny and Poppy. That's sort of evolved over this campaign. I think has been really fun to play.
It's been delightful. I've been loving that
Mimosas,
so much.
Let's go.
It's been glorious. Glorious, I say. But once again, before we dive in, as always, this is a game that's very much about vice, corruption, and people in pain doing terrible things to each other. So just so you folks will know, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for you, any of the players can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we will back up and we'll do something else. If something happens that you're okay having in the game, but you don't want a graphic description of it, type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And finally, if you're in the midst of intense role-playing and you think we might be worried that you're really upset out of character, you can put an O in the chat and let us know you're okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we say or do something and then think, maybe that might be a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that and let us know that we're still doing okay. While the characters might end up seeing quite a lot of torment, we want to make absolutely sure we do not have that happening to the players. But now, as we get into it, our setting for this game is Seattle, a place some call the Emerald City. And we've had a lot happen over the last little bit. I think that we're coming up time once again. If we can have one final bit of recap from our investigator as she's assessing everything that's been going on, that would be delightful. I do want to make one tiny thing, though, as we had a slight time jump at the end between the last two sequences. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably, if folks are okay with this, I think something that's probably going to come out about what happened at the what did I name that place? Skyreach Plaza. Is that it turns out that the gas was not necessarily lethal. People are starting perhaps to wake up from it after some time. So, because it occurred to me, well, if the whole point was to get was to get Logan, then it was probably more of a distraction than anything else. But if folks are okay with it, I think that's probably actually what happened. Seemed like it was going to be lethal at the time, but in fact was not. But that
Poppy definitely acts like it was.
It's entirely possible. But then, Dingo, if you're ready, then if you feel free to recap us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're back in Danny's office, the classic private investigator's office with the frosted glass door and the big oak desk and the little green. I mention this every time, but I love those little green and gold, like little lamps, desk lamps. And I think she's sitting in her desk chair, and she's probably got the newspaper with the headline being the events at the Skyreach Plaza open. She probably just read through it. She still has the files on Alexandra Yegorovich out on her desk, cauliflower sitting in her lap. And I think we hear kind of the narration start as she puts her head in her hands. She just goes, "What a night. I don't know if this is anything my mom had to deal with when she was a private investigator. It seems like she was more in people's beds than at people's parties, but trying to remember how this even all happened. Logan came to me with news that Connie had been kidnapped. There was a picture. They were demanding he brings the money and the thumb drive for the code to Lit Katie to the pre-release party with the statement, 'The Tempest is coming.' And the Tempest came. At least I think it did. I did a little looking into Connie, going back to her desk, just to see if there was anything I could find. And apparently she had a relationship, or maybe it was more of a stalker situation, from Wendell, who was supposedly murdered at the Roses, which I found out from Dr. Alexander. That was an uncomfortable lunch. Oh, I have never been more put on the coals. That was difficult to explain. But I think it worked out fine. He had his fun cornering me. And I got information. My mom's been blackmailing Dr. Alexander. There's some shady stuff going on at the Roses. People going missing, particularly Wendell, who faked his death, I assume. Only my mom knows why. Still have to get up with her. I'm sure she'll be pleased to know I'm okay, if she even cares. And Dr. Alexander, I'm still not sold he's not a part of this, other than an innocent bystander. Logan's been apparently holding out on returns on Dr. Alexander's investments, so maybe it was enough to make him angry. Seems unlikely, but you never know. And then there was the pre-release party. Blaring techno music, a close run-in with the Russian mob, which I only realized after the fact. I think Poppy played it cool, mostly. And then, just as I was getting to Logan, the Tempest came, and the room filled with gas, and now Logan's missing. What does that say about me if my client has gone missing? There's a lot to figure out, and I don't know how it all fits together. There's just so much. But I'm close. I can feel it. Just have to find Logan first. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, as we can see, it looks like that crime grid's getting pretty full. So we're probably gonna get it to some implications real soon now.
Yeah, I think we only have theoretically two scenes, 2 squares left, because the suspicion square, you got to do 2 of them.
Yeah, and then there'll be scenes after that, just as you hop from place to place implicating people. But we'll see how this goes. So, speaking of scenes, Lulu is the current authority, and
she is.
Let's see. You accept, as I recall, you accepted Dingo's proposal first for a scene whose name I should know by now because I have been playing this for the last 4 weeks. A revelation sequence. But I think,
yes.
Let me see here. Oh yeah, no, it's only in investigation sequences. That's what I messed up last time. That's what I thought I had more dice than I did.
My last notes I have is on a revelation scene with Alexandra. Or did we do that completely and then we left on the end?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay,
that's
sorry,
when she found the connection between Yegorovich and Connie.
Okay.
Constance used to work for the Russian mafia. As it turns out. But now that sequence is ended, and now we have a new sequence that Dingo can propose, and Lulu, you can go with that, or you can do another thing.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to propose an investigation sequence. I think after a good long nap, Danny's gonna hit up, and if I can, I'm gonna propose maybe not a new character, but like a new side character. I think she's gonna hit up a police contact that she knows.
Totally. And you can totally propose characters too, actually, so if you want to. But
okay.
I just have to see what.
And so you're gonna be like working with them, like trying to get information out of them, or?
Yeah, I think there's someone I know on the force. I need a name. I didn't come up with a name.
Right, well that one's off then.
Any particular background you would like as far as these names go? Yeah, I've got behind the name up.
No particular background.
Is this an ex of yours?
Yeah, it's my ex.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Do you want a male or female name, or?
Let's do female.
All right. Let's go somewhere in the middle of the alphabet. Journey? Sorry, that's the first name I saw. Let's see.
I like Journey. I'm down for that.
Journey?
Yeah, we can do Journey. And
like the band?
I guess.
She was named after the band.
She totally has like KP parents, but she became a police officer because she's like, no way. Crazy.
Let's see.
Her full name's probably like Journey Drizzle or something.
Yeah,
Maybe she was conceived when her parents were listening to Journey. That's how it.
That's entirely.
She was conceived at a Journey concert.
That's
Oh,
entirely
wow.
possible.
Oh no. She's never been allowed to forget it.
Let's see. Shall I just randomly select somewhere in Europe, or do we want somewhere else?
Wherever is fine with me.
I'm going to close my eyes and click on something. Okay, so I'm in Slovenia right now.
Good country.
Krisman. Krisman? Journey Krisman?
Yep,
Oh,
that's the name. Officer Cruzman.
Yeah.
Cruiseman. I thought you were talking about a country, and I was like, I don't. What?
Actually, I'm going to shorten it to Cruz. How about that?
Sure.
CRUZ.
I'm going to go ahead and put it under other characters just so that I can remember, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a police detective?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think she goes to the local Seattle PD and finds her way to Officer Cruz's desk and sort of she finds Officer Cruz probably just putting in paperwork, and I think she just kind of taps on the top of her computer. Hey, Journey.
Danny? What are you doing here?
Working a case, and I thought maybe you could help me out with something.
Did you sneak in here?
Sneak is a strong word for what I did. I just walked with confidence.
Congratulations. I'm glad you've grown into yourself. You used
Thanks.
to be shy. You need to report a crime, and she'll like pick up another paperwork. Like, all right, yeah.
No, I'm not reporting a crime. I thought maybe we could work together on something.
Danny, just gonna place a hand on your shoulder and be like, private investigators, they just do a policewoman's job. Didn't you ever think about anything else?
I considered being a writer, you know that. And she kind of pushes Journey's hand off her. Don't fucking patronize me, Journey. Come on.
Swearing isn't becoming.
I forgot how delightful you were.
You're so sweet.
Listen, I'm looking for someone. Samuel Logan. I was at the Skyreach Plaza the other night.
What, you think my people can't find him?
I'm not saying that your people can't find him. I would just very much like to find him.
And why do you want to find him?
He's my client.
Oh, he's in trouble, is he?
Well, he's missing, so yeah, he's kind of in trouble.
Don't
I
get
would say.
sarcastic with me.
You started it, Journey. Listen, I just need a
Look.
little bit of help.
Well, why don't you help me first? What were you dealing with him for?
He was worried that someone was blackmailing him. I was just
Someone?
finding someone. Didn't know who. Just trying to find out if it was true and who it could be. I'm guessing it has to do with whatever happened. Well, I'm not guessing. I know it has something to do with what happened at Skyreach Plaza. The Tempest thing.
The Tempest.
Yeah, come on. I can't imagine your guys haven't questioned people.
We have. I'm worried about you getting involved in this kind of thing.
everybody's worried about me getting involved in literally anything. I think people would be happier if I was a florist or, I don't know, a grocery bag girl. Or a writer for BuzzFeed.
You read BuzzFeed?
I don't read BuzzFeed. My friend Poppy works for BuzzFeed. You remember her?
Yeah, I remember. Weird. Look, I mean, most of this... I mean, what do you want from me? I can't go telling you everything. This is police business, old time's sake or not.
I just need to know if you have any leads, and I need to know if you could just look in to a couple people for me. Mainly
I can look into some people.
his assistant, Constance Dash. There's something shady about her.
All right. I'll see what we got, and I'll send you a text. I've still got your number, unless you blocked me.
I can unblock you.
I see you've been spending a lot of time with Poppy lately.
Okay, you can't go getting jealous. You broke up with me.
I'm not jealous. I'm just surprised is all. I thought you were smarter than that.
You know, for a detective, you're not very good at your poker face. Probably should work on that. Didn't they teach you that in the police academy?
Of course they did. But as far as I remember, you're the one coming to me for information.
You're right. I don't mean to be rude.
Well, I mean, maybe we're just both tired. Between you and I was investigating a nightclub last night. It might have something. I didn't find anything, but...
What nightclub?
Did we name the one from the car chase?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna name it. I say really confidently, like I already have a name planned.
I'm excited to hear this new name. Tavern names, theater names.
Journey will pause and say,
Restaurant.
It's called the Red Ball.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah, it's got some connections. I wouldn't be surprised if Poppy had taken you there once or twice in her drunken state.
I actually got into kind of a car chase near that nightclub. Yeah, I might be poking my nose into places where it doesn't belong.
You do that.
So the Red Ball, any connection with the Yegoroviches or...
Yeah, it's owned by them. So, watch your mouth there.
Oh, I'll try. I seem to have a tough time doing that lately.
It's probably Poppy's influence. She never was good at it.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, if I can be honest with you, Journey, for old time's sake, at this point, I'm even starting to suspect Poppy.
Poppy?
I mean, she plays dumb, but there's something else going on there. I don't think she's as dumb as she lets on.
Do you love her? She's as thick as 2 bricks, Danny.
I don't love her. I mean, I love her as a friend.
She once jumped from the college hall balcony into a pool.
Okay. So she has poor impulse control.
You want me to investigate her?
I'm just looking to see if maybe our lines have crossed, our suspicions have crossed in any way. Did you guys ever hear about anything that went down at that gardening center off of 12th?
She will pull you into a more private room, away from the rest of them. Just say, look, you know I don't support what you do. It's risky, it's irrelevant. I'm trained to do it and you are not. But I am aware of some things that went down there. If you're involved with that, I need you to be careful.
I'm not involved. Why would I be involved?
Because you asked me about it? I know what you're like, Danny.
Logan's a member of the gardening club. I'm aware of the gardening club. I know something might have happened a couple nights ago.
Couple nights ago?
I'm just looking to find out what happened.
We're not generally called to deal with matters that happen at the Roses. They're above the law, if you will. Those people, they pay good money to do what they want. If there's a mistake that happens there, there's a mistake that happens.
So being an officer is so much better than being a private investigator. Can't even
At least I know what I'm doing.
But can you do it in certain places is the thing. So you know nothing about what happened at the Roses?
Great. I've told you all I can.
Okay, one last question. Missing persons case. Someone named Wendell Hagen. Ring any bells?
Yeah, it does.
What happened there?
Well, it was a little while back. I was relatively junior. I don't have that much information. I know he pissed off the wrong person. We found him floating in the port. The keys to his boat were inside a letter. The letter seemed to have something to do with a relationship that had gone wrong. It was a pretty messed up body, but still identifiable. To be honest, that's all I really remember.
Gotcha.
I could probably get a file out for you, but you'll have to read it in here.
No, it's fine. I think y'all might have done your identification wrong. While you're checking out Constance, I was also checking her out. There's a letter from Wendell Hagen in her desk from about 6 months back, has some blood on it. You guys may want to check that out.
What? You think he's still alive?
Oh, I'm positive he's still alive. Not so useless as a private investigator after all.
We don't know that you're right, Danny.
Okay, well, call me when I am. Let me know
I
anything
will.
you find on Constance.
I'll keep you up to date.
And she walks confidently out of the police station.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Lulu, since you accepted that that scene, you actually get a die back
Hooray!
for that. So you're back up, I think, to 4 now, if I remember right. It is time once again for Dingo to move the pawn, to move the witness one to the right, because that's the only direction she can go in at this point. And put a name in there.
I'm gonna put down. I'm gonna put down Constance again.
Okay. All right. And so the gavel shall move over to Anino. And Anino, you are now the authority.
Oh gosh, I don't have anything prepared.
And so you can go ahead, Dingo, and propose a scene. Chapter.
I'm nervous to go anywhere and do anything.
Hey, your ex was fun.
Wow, that got tense really, really fast too.
I mean, you can always call for a refreshment scene if you just want to have Danny take a break. You want to get your die that one die back. Although that will refresh everyone else's dice as well if you choose to do that.
That's fine. You all can have your dice back. But I don't actually know how reflection scenes work.
Reflection, that's right. Why did I say refreshment? Because I'm probably getting it from another game. Oh, yes.
Because it refreshes dice pools.
It does.
No, I want to hear Danny making a cup of tea.
Yeah, easily enough. Yeah, reflection sequence is just basically anything that the investigator does to heal. So, working a case can wear on an investigator. The contact with the grimier aspects of humanity is exhausting for both body and soul, and the unfolding case can challenge an investigator's sense of justice, mercy, or humanity. The investigator experiences this sense of exhaustion as their opponents wear away their dice pool. The investigator can depict this effect in a reflection sequence. In a reflection sequence, the investigator stops to gather their wits and tend their wounds before going on with the investigation. This can take the form of anything that fits the personality of the investigator. Spending time alone with a chess problem, brooding over the city skyline, getting drunk, going to church, visiting family, or even slumping over in their car for a while are all valid examples. Choose whatever seems to fit. While pursuing this respite, the investigator will usually reflect on the events so far. This is when the mental aftershocks from the cruelty, the brutality, and the venality shake the investigator. The investigator should narrate a short scene showing the effects of the case on the investigator. And no one may declare a crime or conflict during the reflection sequence.
No crimes.
At the end of the reflection sequence, all players refresh their dice pools, regaining all their lost dice. This is the only way the investigator can recover lost dice. So if you want to do that, then that's always on the table.
I think I do, because I think, yeah, we're gonna do I have an idea of what I want to do. So we're gonna do a reflection scene, and it does not end the chapter, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it's you then go on to you can propose another scene after that.
Okay. Then I think Danny goes back home, or back to her office, and I think we see this short little montage of her flopping on the couch, pulling the blanket over her head, pulling it back down, going to her little investigation board, moving things around, writing things down, playing with cauliflower. And then I think she calls up, I think she texts Poppy to see if she's okay and to see if she wants to go out.
She's down.
Yeah. And I think she's going to mix a little bit of business and pleasure. And I think her and Poppy, they go to the Red Ball. And I think Danny sits at the bar with Poppy and is sort of like, she's trying to enjoy herself. She's kind of slumped over. She's still kind of looking around. She's drinking. Occasionally, Poppy can get her to go out on the dance floor and dance for a little while. And I think as this blur of a night sort of goes on, we see just Danny going back and forth between the bar, getting more drinks, and then finally towards the end of the night, she's actually like enjoying herself and dancing and sort of muddled. And I think that's where I cut that reflection scene. Just having a good time.
Hey, dice for everyone.
Hooray!
I don't think I've rolled anything.
Yeah. You were at full already.
Yeah.
Get an extra dice.
Oh dear God. No. Sadly, it only refreshes.
I'm back up to 4 or 5.
5. Yeah, everyone's back at 5. All right, you get to, now you can propose an investigation scene, or
good, because it's right after my reflection scene.
Yeah. Well, you can propose an investigation or a revelation scene if you so choose. Either one.
Nah, I'm doing an investigation. I think it's while she's at the red ball, and it's after, she's had a few drinks. That she's re-energized, she's reinvigorated, she's drunk, and so she's here. She might as well do some sneaking around.
Is it drunk sneaking?
Drunk sneakery.
I mean,
Shh, don't look at me.
Listen, what's wrong with a little drunk sneaking around at a known Russian mob-owned club?
I know, no problem.
yeah. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen, Anino? You tell me.
Poppy's gonna
That's
be
for you to
great
decide,
at
sir.
I think, Danny ditches Poppy. I think she's hitting up some people at the bar on the dance floor.
everyone. She's hitting on everyone.
I think Danny chooses to wait until that moment where she knows that Poppy's gonna get on top of the bar and start dancing and make a big scene. Because it happens every time.
Danny, get up with me.
Yeah, I think she's able to, while everybody's sort of distracted with Poppy, I think she's able to sort of slip past everyone and find maybe a hallway that she's not quite supposed to go down, with a few doors. And feel free to interrupt me at any time, but I think she finds a door with some stairs that lead down into the basement, because there's always a basement.
Oh, I can't believe you're going to do this to me. I was hoping to avoid violence, but
I didn't want to do violence, but you're forcing me to do violence.
So you see that the stairways and the halls that are sort of away from the hustle and bustle of things, you see that the hallways are littered with pallets of alcoholic beverages of all sorts. It spans on, but it's really, really dark ahead. You said you wanted to open up a door that looks like it's going to the basement. So it's locked. It gives a little bit of a jiggle. You'll notice that the door has a deadlock to it, as well as just a deadlock. So it doesn't look like there's anybody around, but this club is modern enough to have a lot of cameras in various nooks and crannies in order to monitor what's going on the premises.
So are they all just watching Poppy dancing right now? Like, I feel like by this stage, she's like jackets off, shoes off.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's not a very busy night at the bar. It's not I'm going to say it's not a weekend night. So, it's probably a Wednesday night. So it's mostly a crowd of people who have absolutely no responsibilities whatsoever, which, hey, all right.
Yeah. So I think
time.
What?
It's not heavily staffed. You do see a group of people who seem to be regulars wearing red and white tracksuits, sitting in what appears to be more of a VIP kind of lounge.
In tracksuits.
In tracksuits, yes.
I love tracksuits.
Danny's like, I finally found my own bar.
Okay. Do I recognize anybody in the VIP area that are in these tracksuits?
I forget. Did Alexandra have anybody with her while she was at the party?
She had a couple of thugs.
Bodyguards.
That were kind of a bit behind her.
Yeah. So you'll recognize that one of them is happens to be one of the escorts for Alexandra at the aforementioned ball. He seems to be very suspicious of the girl who is dancing on the bar, as if he recognizes her but can't quite place where she is. Although, you know, for all he believes, she could just be one of those regulars that, you know, seem to be very at home at climbing up on top of bars and dancing. So, but they seem to be paying more attention to that, and they have a very stern, intense demeanor about them, but a slight smirk, I guess, on their expressions, thanks to Poppy's amusing antics.
All right, that tracks. Listen, Poppy can handle herself, probably, maybe. So I think what Danny does, she's at this point, I think she's kind of convinced that Logan is likely to be here, since last we left him, or last she heard, his bodyguards had been swapped out with someone else's, which seems suspicious. And who has a plethora of bodyguards but the Russian mob. So I think she waits and she hides behind these pallets of alcohol. I think she sort of tucks herself away and waits until she sees someone either come in or come out, or go in or go out of the door that hopefully leads downstairs. And once they go in, I think she sort of slips around the alcohol, kind of grabs the door, waits a little bit, and then slips in.
Okay, so that's your plan. So you're waiting a little while, and then you see another gentleman who happens to be an employee of the bar, dressed up in that stereotypical black button-down shirt and dark slacks, carrying a tray of food, and opens the door and starts traveling down the stairs. So you're gonna go after this person?
Yeah, I think she's gonna kind of hold the door unlocked and just kind of wait to give him time to go away, and then slip into the door and shut it behind her.
Okay, so the stairs are concrete. They seem to go down about 2 or flights. You hear another clicking as a door opens in 1 floor down. If you peek over the edge, you'll see that he disappears behind that door, and the door happens to have a self-closing mechanism, so it's starting to close slowly.
I think she takes off her shoes and stuffs them in her purse, so she doesn't make any noise against the concrete. And just like in her stockings, she runs down the stairway, and she tries to stay out of sight as she's trying to catch a glimpse of what's in the door, as she's sort of trying to prevent it from closing all the way.
Sure. So you go ahead and you open up, you slip in through that door. You notice it's very poorly lit in here. mostly with overhanging lights without any sort of shading over it. It's pretty crowded in there too. It seems like they stored a lot of the miscellaneous furniture. You'll see Samuel Logan chained up against a really old-looking heater, I guess, a furnace.
Like a radiator?
Radiator, yeah. And you'll notice within the room, there's also a freezer with, that seems to be where they would store meat or possibly vodka, higher end stuff. And there are places for you to sort of skulk around. You have a lot of these warehouse style shelving with iron fittings and boards and such, so that they can store things on there more or less. You can tell that this place is pretty much soundproof. People outside of it can't hear. That's it. So you see that there is a table set up next to the radiator, but Samuel Logan happens to be on the floor, looking kind of beat up, worse for wear. And,
okay.
The waiter, I guess, leaves the food on the table. Samuel Logan tries to talk to him, beg to get released, but the waiter is too well trained and basically just ignores Samuel's pleas for help and makes his way back to the door.
Okay, so I think Danny's going to hide between the railings of the stairs. Does that make sense? You know how there's that like little space. I think she's going to try to hide in there and wait for the waiter to come back out. And when he does, and when he leaves, she's going to slip into the room where Logan is. Okay.
So while the waiter is pretty well trained and knows not to pay attention to any of the actual business that's going on, he is not very alert. So he's probably not expecting you. And you are able to somehow slip past him and get into the room without any fuss or trouble.
Mm-hmm. I think Danny's, if she catches Logan's eyes, she's going to kind of put her hand up to her mouth and like shush.
What state is Logan in right now as far as, is he conscious or semi-conscious or?
He is probably semi-conscious. He's probably been drugged up a couple of times through interrogations. I'm kind of debating whether or not he's missing anything, like fingers or...
Maybe whatever, he might be, but it's not probably visible at this point.
Probably not immediate. Yeah. Immediately obvious.
I'll leave it up to Samuel Logan's actor.
So
but he's been roughed up a fair bit.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of sees you and he's like,
F. Shush. And I think she's gonna kind of like stick to kind of the shelving and look around and see if anybody's there. And if nobody's there, she's gonna kind of run over to Logan. I assume no one's in this room.
Yeah. So there's no one else in this room right now.
Okay, yeah, she sort of runs over to him.
She's like, Vivian? Oh my god.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I think
Screw balance, I want romance.
Danny kind of snaps her fingers in front of Logan's face.
Grabbing her elbow, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Vivian. I'm not gonna do it again, I promise. We can work it out. Oh God. Sorry. What? And he starts slowly. He lets his hand down from your elbow as he's like, Wait a minute, who's this? Is this Danny?
Yeah, Logan, it's me, Danny.
Oh, crap. Sorry. Did they get you too?
No. I got out of there. What? She's gonna kind of look at the way he's chained up and see if there's a way she can sort of unchain him and get him out of there, or if there's any like tools around that she can like not wire cutters. What are the big
Bolt cutters?
bolt cutters? Like if there's like a bolt cutter around for her to kind of undo these chains with quickly.
So, unfortunately, there is no bolt cutters around. But you do see an open toolbox on the table, and in there are a variety of pliers and a hacksaw.
And you have Poppy's little nail scissors in your purse.
And you'll notice that the implements in the toolbox are not
Clean.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, Danny kind of pokes around in the toolbox, just, they didn't do anything to you, did they, Logan?
I think they just want me to suffer more than anything else. They're gonna...
You have all your fingers, you have all your teeth in your head.
They broke my leg.
Oh, that's gross. Okay. So I take it you probably can't walk, huh?
I haven't tried yet. But I can give it a shot.
Well, don't do it right now. Danny's grabbing like needle nose pliers, and I think she's pulling Poppy's little like nail scissors out of her purse, and she's gonna look for are the chains like, is there like a padlock to it? Because I think she's gonna try and like jam these in there and try to unlock it if she can.
I should point out that we can call this a conflict if you wish. It doesn't necessarily have to be a direct the other person is there, because ultimately it decides narration for the full scene, so that's always possible if you wish.
Is that up to me, or is that up to the authority?
It's actually, anyone can call for a conflict. I'm not doing that here, but I'm just saying that if that I just wanted to make sure I just let everyone know that it's an option. If at some point you get stuck and you're like, let's just conflict it, that's always possible.
Okay. Well, I think, yeah, she's gonna take her the needle nose pliers and Poppy's scissors and pop open the lock and sort of get him unchained. But I think she keeps the pliers with her, and she's gonna sort of try to get under Logan and pick him up. I don't know how we're gonna get out of here, but we need to get you out of here. Maybe you can just sit at this table for a second and try out walking. I'm gonna look around.
Yeah, give it a shot. You got something I can make a splint out of or something?
Yeah, and not Poppy. That's the third time I've done that. Danny's.
They're so close.
They're so close. They're almost the same person. No, they're just inseparable. Danny's gonna look around.
Investigator? What?
What?
I don't get it.
There's yeah, I think she's gonna look around these. You said they were like these warehouse shelves.
Yep.
In here. So I think she's gonna dig for anything related to related to Lit Katie, or like what's going on here, or like anything that stands out to her. She's just gonna kind of paw through all of these shelves.
Okay, So there isn't anything there that is relevant to Lit Katie. It genuinely looks like this is just a typical storage unit for a bar or restaurant, with things like aprons, utensils, folding chairs, linens, that sort of thing.
Okay. And I think she also looks for, is there another door in here other than the one that goes out into the stairway?
So there is one. There is a freezer.
Oh, God. I'm gonna go look in that freezer, I guess.
There's so much non-fat ice cream in there.
so much froyo. Yeah, I think she's gonna find like a box or like a brick or something down here to sort of prop the door open, and she's going to turn to Logan. Give me a signal if you hear anybody coming. I'm just gonna pop my head in here and be right back. And I'm gonna look inside the freezer.
Okay. So you open up the freezer. Opens up with a little bit of a hiss and escape of cold air. Look inside and you see that there are racks of vodka, chilling as they are wont to do. So it looks like this is where they keep all of the top shelf type of vodka for people to serve in case of high rollers and such. You'll also see a couple of steel briefcases, and a rack of guns.
Okay, I'm taking one.
Okay, so you see various handguns there, as well as a shotgun, and maybe one or two assault rifles, but those look awfully heavy.
Yeah, no, I think she just takes one of the little handguns and slides it in her purse and goes, just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Okay. She opens up one of the other steel cases. She'll see neat packs of Benjamins all arranged in a nice little presentation, as one is wont to see in movies.
All right. Guns and bennies. Okay, yeah. She takes one of the guns. I think she starts taking pictures with her phone after she takes the gun. And then walks out of the freezer and sort of closes it behind her.
Okay.
And moves to see if Logan can walk.
So how is Logan doing?
So Logan is. I think Logan has passed out on the table again. There he's.
Keep it together, Logan.
No, I didn't mean to do it. What? Oh, hey.
Yeah, I think she kind of just slaps him on the face a little bit. Like, just all you got to do is just stay conscious till we get out of here, and then.
Yeah, that's familiar. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Logan, it would just be better if maybe you just didn't open your mouth ever. Okay? And I expect the best edible arrangement after this is all over. And she's gonna help him move out of the room and up the stairs.
Okay. So, as you guys are attempting to move up the stairs on your way out of the door, maybe Samuel Logan might notice that there is a blinking red light in one of the corners of the room on their way out.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So he's kind of limping along. He's like, oh, crap.
What?
You told me not to say anything.
Well, you've already broken that, so.
He points.
Oh, fuck. Shit. They're gonna tear this. We can't hide. They're gonna tear this room apart. Okay. I guess we just gotta move fast. How fast can you move? Let's go. Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
She's pulling the gun out of her purse, making sure it's loaded, loading it, and moving up the stairs and out of the red ball as quickly as she can. Sorry, Poppy. Bye. Meet up with you later.
So you make it as far as the locked door in the corridor. And as it swings open, you hear a click, click, and you see the same track-suited monsters that were sitting in the corner, standing in front of you, looking pretty stern. And unfortunately, one of them has Poppy in his arms. And
Like in his arms, just like, hey,
Carrying.
how you going?
yeah, he's not doing it as a sort of, hey, look who I picked up. It's more of a, hey, I've got a knife to her throat.
Oh, she's not into that, surprisingly.
Yeah.
A lot of things she'll do.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah. And then,
I tried.
so, yeah. You obviously didn't escape the cameras. And there's just someone happened to have noticed it. Now, I'm trying to decide who should be with them.
Alexandra? I mean, it's her nightclub.
I was thinking Alexandra. I think one option could also be Constance Dash.
Yeah, it could be either one of them potentially, given their connections.
I guess Constance is lower ranking, so
Yeah. If indeed.
depends how much of a party goer Alex is.
Yeah.
And
how much Alexandra has, actually manages day to day at the nightclub.
I think the more interesting of those two options would probably be Constance.
yeah.
We can always adjust as need be.
All right. We'll go with Constance.
Okay.
You'll see Constance standing there just behind one of the shoulders of the men with her arms folded across her chest, and she's staring daggers at Danny. But she doesn't say a word.
Nice.
No,
too.
Connie is standing behind, the mobsters and staring down at Danny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Danny freezes. Connie?
Connie?
Shut up. You shut up.
So Connie speaks Russian to the her companions, who then heft their guns and point them all at both Samuel and Danny.
So, this is a conflict, right?
Yeah, this is a
I
conflict.
feel as though this might be a conflict. I'm feeling as though there are guns here and there are people pointing them. This, I feel, is a conflict.
No, this is just normal dating with Poppy. It's like, yeah, this is great.
A normal night out with Poppy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this is usually how it goes.
She's like, so Connie was dating my ex, and then I was like, what up?
Okay, so let me pull up the summary.
I'm going to
here.
roll after all.
Yes. All right. So establish
Remember
the
when you
goals of the
said you didn't want
conflict. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Establish the goals of the conflict on both sides, either in character or out of character, however you want to establish that. So yes, Dingo, what's Danny going for here?
I want to get the hell out with Samuel and ideally Poppy too.
Okay.
Wow. Ideally, Poppy.
Ditched.
I will also take the other way around.
Anino, what are your goals here? Just generally.
Constance is going to want to apprehend both Danny and Samuel and return them to the basement.
Hey,
Excellent.
love that basement. It's so fun in there with all those pliers and hacksaws.
And
It's so
Froyo.
fun. And Froyo.
So you get to each draw 5 dice from. Just draw 5 dice from the gray deck.
Yay!
Each of you.
How do I do that?
There should be, if you hover over the gray deck, it should say draw. I think it should give you an option for how many cards you want.
Okay.
And now I must ask each of you, Dingo, are you aiming for violence?
If I have to.
You don't have to. It's up to you. If you want there to be violence, possibly.
Let's say yes. I am.
And Anino, are you aiming for violence?
Are they aiming for violence?
I mean, like, you're gonna drag him down the stairs.
It's true. I'm just trying to determine more as to how likely are they going to shoot Danny.
I mean, I can't be killed, so.
I know that's.
Oh, that's yeah.
one
But
of the
Poppy
things that
can be.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen.
And she's kind of like kill the spare over here.
Yeah,
Just
Poppy
the
could be
Cedric
killed,
degree of the
Logan might be
situation.
killed. Just depends.
So, I guess we're going to have to go with violence.
Okay.
Because if Danny does not come quietly, then Poppy and or Samuel are going to suffer.
All right, so I'm going to roll the violence die, and I think it came up a 3 again. Yes, it did. Okay.
Yes, it did.
So a lot of 3s that we've had with this die.
Oh, wow.
So that since both of you said yes, you may now choose a die from the violence deck that matches. Yes. Choose a die from the violence deck that matches the. Pick 3s. Each of you get a 3 out of the deck and drag it over there, next to the other 3. So if you want to make sure there's violence, you're looking for 3s.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab a 3.
How do I grab?
So you hover over the deck and select choose, and then it'll let you select one of those, and you can grab one of those.
Just one of these dice?
Yeah. Just pick the 3,
Okay.
and then you can pull it out onto the conflict grid, the conflict track.
Is that this big square next to the crime grid?
Yeah. Sorry, the one with the numbers.
Okay.
All the way around it.
Do I have to put it on a number? Or?
No, you just put it somewhere on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah, and, just right click and it'll let you flip it over. And Dingo, go ahead and drag that die out and do the same. That red die. You got
Oh.
it in.
Where am I dragging it to? The crime board?
Yeah, onto the conflict track inside there. Anywhere inside the track, yeah. Go ahead and flip it over.
Flippy.
Alrighty. Now, it is the investigator's bid. Remember, you can roll it. You can re-roll some of your dice before or after you declare your bid, if you so desire.
Okay. I'm gonna go with sorry. Yeah.
2 2s?
Yeah.
Okay. So Do you want to re-roll any of your dice?
I think I'm gonna re-roll. Yes.
Okay, so drag any die, any one of the dice that you're going to keep into the investigator box and reveal it. And
Big surprise there.
And remember, ones are wild, but go ahead and pull out any of the ones that you want to re-roll and draw that same number of dice from the gray deck.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, you got it?
Mm-hmm.
And the conflict die is in the right place. Then, Anino, it's to you. Do you want to make a counter bid or call?
I'll make a counter bid.
Okay.
How do I do that?
So, again, you can re-roll before or after you do this, but you just sort of decide. It has to increase either one or the other. It can be both if you want. So right now the bid is 2 2s. So you would need to make a bid that's higher either on the die face or in the number of dice.
Okay. So I want to bid on 2 4s.
Okay, so you don't move the die, but just right-click it, and it should let you choose side.
Okay.
And multi-sided, choose side, and then change it to a 4. There you go. So you're bidding 2 4s. Did you want to re-roll anything?
Where did my dice from the original thing go?
It should be, your dice should be in your hand.
Is that one that just moved?
Did you drag any of them out?
No, those were mine that I discarded, so I deleted them.
In my hand.
Yeah, so above your name
Okay.
in Roll20,
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
you just click on that and then boom, there they are.
Okay. So can I re-roll all of these?
You can re-roll all but one of them. You do have to keep at least one of them. Remember, ones are wild.
Okay.
You go ahead and reveal the one that you're keeping because you have to reveal at least one die whenever you re-roll. So you would drag the one that you're keeping into the authority box and flip it over. And then you can basically drag the rest of them out of your hand and draw 4 new dice.
Okay. So do I just throw out these remaining 3 dice and then draw just a new 3, or do I just draw a new 3?
You throw out the ones that you are that you don't. Yeah, so you drag out the ones from your hand that you don't want, and you can put them somewhere on the table, anywhere, just not on top of anything, and then draw the rest of them. And I think you had So if you're re-rolling all of them, then you just draw 4 dice, because that should bring you back up to 5, including the one in the authority box. And also go ahead and flip over the one in the authority box so we can see it. So right-click on it, and it should give you an option to turn it over. There you go. All right. And so the bid is currently, it's back to you, Dingo. The bid is currently 2 4s. The bid is currently 2 4s.
Okay.
So you can either counter bid or call.
I'm going to do a counter bid of 4 2s. Just gonna flip it.
Alrighty. And do you want to re-roll anything?
I am going to re-roll, but I'm gonna bring my little thing out, and then I'm gonna re-roll. What?
Yep, so however many you drag out, go ahead and draw that many.
I did.
All
Okay.
right.
Finished.
And the bid is 4 2s, and so it's to you.
I'll call.
All right, you are calling the bid of 4 2s. Let's see. When you call a bid instead of bidding, you may not re-roll your dice. Both players reveal all their dice by dragging them into their respective squares and flipping them over. So go ahead and pull all of your dice into your square and flip them over. Anino, you should have a total of 5 dice.
I only decided to roll 4.
Right. But there's... Oh, okay, you only chose to roll 4 at the beginning. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And it appears that we have lost Dingo for a moment. So hopefully all is okay. Alright, guys, quick internet hiccup. So, as we sit here on the edge of our seats trying to determine how this is going to come out, I think we're going to go ahead and go to break because we're close to the halfway point, I think. So we will go ahead and do that as we are coming near the end of this conflict. And so we will see you in approximately like 5-10 minutes. See you soon. we have returned. And now we shall see the exciting conclusion to this conflict. So Dingo, please reveal your dice.
All right.
Ooh, okay. It was Dingo's bid. The bid was 4 2s. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2s. So that means that you're going to win.
Yay!
It is not a 3, so we're not going to worry about violence. So you cannot do violence in your narration in this scene.
Crap.
But well, you can cause collateral damage, however. And you know, NPCs can die. That's fine. Or rather, NPCs, non-featured characters can die.
NPCs are dead. They're okay. They're expendable.
Yeah, they're expendable.
Whatever.
The extras can die if you want. Yeah. So he reopens the. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Yeah, no one's holding violence dice. So see, the difference between there is 1. So Anino, you go down 1 die, so you go from 5 to 4 is your die pool total. The winner narrates the conclusion of the scene. They must include any resulting violence, which there isn't any, to affect one character in the scene, no pushes. So yeah, so that is the result. So, Dingo, what happens?
Here's what happens. As Constance and Danny are kind of having this like standoff and everybody's kind of pointing their guns at everyone, Danny locks eyes with Poppy, and Poppy kind of gives like a little bit of like a drunk smile, and everything sort of happens very quickly as Poppy sort of grabs the knife that's being held to her throat and sort of turns it around and stabs the mobster that's got the hold on her. And Danny starts shooting above everyone and guns are going off. One of the mobsters turns and grabs Constance and pulls her out of there. And Poppy, Danny, and Logan are able to sort of as everyone is kind of shooting and running, able to run out in the chaos that happens. And I think the shots are heard in the club as well, and so everybody's kind of like fleeing out of the club. So they get lost in the crowd, and Danny pushes everyone into her car, jumps in her car, and drives back to don't
Poppy's car.
What Danny is doing. Do not drunk drive. Everyone is sort of headed. She heads back to her office, taking the long way probably, just to make sure she isn't followed. And she sort of helps Logan into her office, with Poppy probably helping too. She dumps them both on the couch and sits down at her desk. And I think she just puts her head on the table.
Poppy brings over cauliflower, like, do you want to hold her?
Yeah, I don't think she even moves.
Yeah.
I think we just end the scene with
I think that is
Danny with
awesome.
her head on her desk.
Awesome. Delightful. Okay. So, having escaped, then, that then gets us to the end of this chapter. So, you know what to do. Move the pawn to the right.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know what to do there for a second. We do this every time, and I always forget about the pawn. So I am going to put Alexandra. I'm going to put Alexandra Y, just so it doesn't bleed into the other.
And since it's a suspicion square, you get to fill in one other open square. I wonder which one you'll pick.
I'm leaning towards Constance, but I'm also kind of suspecting my mom, because Logan mentioned some like weird things when he thought I was Vivian.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought it was just.
It was more
Devin,
like,
but
I
we'll
didn't
see.
take the photos, I swear.
But no, yeah, I think I'm gonna put Constance.
Okay. Alrighty. So the grid is now full. That means that from here on in, anytime you move the pawn, someone is going to be guilty.
Oh boy.
And so that goes.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that means Constance is probably guilty of something.
Yeah, she's looking like a favorite here.
Listen, she's my number one suspect. I can't help it. She's guilty of something.
She is looking like a mastermind here.
I feel like Poppy's gossip sessions about Constance have totally worn off.
Right?
Nice. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just updating my notes.
Sure.
I can't believe you put me in the very tough position of murdering Poppy and or Samuel Logan.
Well, you didn't necessarily. I mean,
Listen.
you could have just knocked. You could have knocked Danny out. That's always possible if you'd gotten like 3 violence points. You could totally have done that if you so desired.
I didn't make you do anything. You put me in a tough position.
You thought you would be able to get away from that club.
Listen. I take no blame for anything. Okay, so shootout, no one harmed. Now we're back at the office. And it's time for a new scene.
Yes. So, I will admit that I have the seed of an idea, but I am curious to see if you what you have. I'm curious
Okay.
to see what you want to do.
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think I'm either gonna go see my mom again, or I'm gonna kind of interrogate Samuel Logan because there's shit he ain't telling me.
Trying to think
What are you
how-
thinking? What's your...
Let's see how I want to do this. Yeah.
I just want to point out that Samuel does actually have a broken leg that probably needs to be treated, and
It can be treated later.
I'm just saying you do know a doctor.
He gets treatment when I get my answer, when I get my questions answered.
Damn.
Hardcore. But it is
Listen.
true. You do know that.
The life of a PI, okay?
Strong, independent woman.
She's
I
becoming
think-
more and more like her mom every day.
So, okay, I think I'm gonna try this, and we're gonna see what happens. I think as you are preparing to do one or both of these things, your phone rings.
Cool. Yeah, I think she was getting ready to talk to Samuel, letting him rest for probably a good 20 minutes before talking to him and maybe calling Dr. Alexander. And I think she was going to call Dr. Alexander as her phone starts ringing. Who's calling me?
It is an unlisted number.
Don't like that. Don't like it. Bad. She picks up, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay. What can you remind me? What sort of neighborhood your office is located in?
I think my office is located on, we'll say, so if I'm thinking it's on like East Union Street, which is like the only street I know in Seattle. And I think that it's so let's say like this is downtown. This is the sort of pier where like Pike Place Market is and stuff. And I think her office is sort of like up the hill.
Okay.
On the east side. It's not a nice neighborhood, but it's not like a terrible neighborhood either. It's just kind of that like
Middle class type.
middle class, probably lower middle class area.
Would the pier be located more on the western or eastern side of this bay here that I'm looking at? Is it Elliott Bay? Is that the one? Or am I thinking entirely wrong?
Well, there's the Trader Joe's. Hold on.
I'm looking at a tourist map, so I have no idea. East Seattle, you said, though, yeah?
I didn't sign up for
East
geography.
Union. So it's it's more towards Lake Washington.
Oh, okay. I need to change maps.
It's like
See, I see Lake
north
Union.
of Squire Park and
Okay.
sort of northwest of the Central District.
Okay. Let me switch. Oh, I see. I think I think I'm getting an idea of where it might be. Okay. Let me just check these two other tourist maps that I printed out just in case. Okay. All right. So it's kind of. Are there other businesses around there?
Yeah, there's a couple of bars, a lot of apartments, couple of down the street there's like a couple of like breakfast places. It's like right up, it's like probably 10 blocks up from a bunch of like bars and clubs and restaurants and things.
Okay. So, do you answer?
Yeah, I answer, but I don't say anything.
Okay. So, you raise the phone, you answer. We should talk.
Well, you're talking now. What is it you would like to say?
Well, I think that we should probably talk where we can be certain there is no one listening in. I think we have a mutual problem.
I kind of doubt that, but I'm interested.
I have evidence to the contrary, but well, it's there are things that we need to air out a bit, I think.
How can I be sure that I'm not going to be shot?
Well, if I had shot you, if I had wanted to shoot you, I could have done that already. You shouldn't. You shouldn't slouch like that. It's not good for you.
I think she instinctually like straightens up and then like looks around.
So if you look out the window, she says, "Out the window, there." And you look across, and there is like a 2-level restaurant. And there's a sort of like balcony thing. And you see her standing on the balcony. She's wearing sunglasses. It's night, but she's wearing sunglasses and a raincoat. And she waves.
Yeah, Danny kind of waves back and then lets go of the blinds. Get your point. Shall I meet you, or is there somewhere else you want to meet?
I have a private room booked here for the evening, if you would like to come in. Private room for the in the restaurant upstairs.
Yeah. What the heck? Sounds like fun.
Excellent.
Poppy's like, what sounds like fun? Where are we going?
Shut up. Shut your mouth.
What?
Beautiful mouth.
Is it your mom?
No, shush. Yeah, she says, I'll be there in 20, and hangs up. And She turns to Poppy and Logan, and says, "Poppy, I need you to call Dr. Alexander. Get him here. See if there's something he can do about Logan's leg. Neither of you leave. Neither of you leave this office. I have to
Where are
go
you going?
meeting with someone I shouldn't be meeting with. I might be getting murdered. I don't know.
Well, call me if you're gonna get murdered.
I'll call you if I'm getting... You know what? Screw 911. I'll call you first if I'm getting murdered."
Okay. All right.
I mean, your ex-girlfriend's a cop, but I mean, I don't
Hi, Journey.
Actually, I
Yeah.
kind of would see that phone call just because it would be really funny to see Lulu just dialoguing with herself.
No.
Yeah, I think before she leaves, she sort of kind of shakes Logan conscious a little bit. "When I get back, you are going to answer all of my questions that I have so many of. I'm not fucking around anymore, Logan. If you're going to pay me, which you are going to pay me,
Of course.
you're going to give me everything you know."
You are so cool right now.
Keep it in your pants, Poppy. If I'm not back in an hour, call the police. Call this number. And she gives Poppy the number to her ex and walks.
As you're heading out, Logan just says, "Hey, you're actually pretty good at this." And he slumps back down on the couch.
Yeah, I think there's like a look of relief on Danny's face for a second. And then her brows furrow again as she marches out the...
Don't frown too much, you'll get wrinkles.
Yeah, she marches across the street to the restaurant and asks for the Yegorovich room.
Yes, of course, ma'am. And the random maitre d' ushers you in, as though he was expecting you.
And I mean, Danny doesn't look great. She's in like a cocktail dress and like ripped stockings, and she probably just threw on like a pair of flats.
Nice. So they escort you up the stairs to sort of an overlook type area, and they take you through to a place where there's a door to where there's sort of a hallway with a couple of doors where they have private rooms, and you know immediately the door that you're looking for, but because there are a couple of big rectangular gentlemen different ones standing outside of the door, but of the same ilk, you suspect. And
Why are you farming all of these beefy dudes?
Central casting. So they probably. One of them opens the door for you.
Yeah, she steps in. Still got that gun in my purse.
And as you come in, you see Alexandra is sitting at a table. There's some windows sort of behind her. There's a little doorway out onto that balcony that you saw. She has like there are a couple of like little hors d'oeuvre type things on the table, and a couple of glasses. And she says, "You didn't give me a chance to ask what you wanted, so I took the liberty of ordering you something."
I'm sure it's fine. Yeah.
It's all right. They're doing okay. It's not like back home, but a few things are, thankfully. She takes
Yeah, she just sits down, and I think she takes a sip of her drink and sets it down and sort of folds her hands. So this mutual problem.
I'm imagining that the drink has some of the blue stuff in it. I forget what it's called, but it's delicious.
Blue curacao, or I forget how to say it.
Yeah. I
Curacao.
think that's that neighbor. We're in that right neighborhood. That thing. I discovered the blue stuff once, and my life has never been the same since. So, yes. So yeah, she is. As she's sort of swirling around in her glass, she says, "Yeah. So, I understand that you ran into some difficulty at the Red Bull earlier this evening."
You could say that, yes.
It may interest you to know that I no longer have stake in the Red Bull.
Just because you don't have any investment in it doesn't mean that you don't run your practices out of it.
In fact, I don't, because there have been I've had some slight internal shudderings after the thing that happened, and it seems some of it has come to a head. And it appears one of my former associates has decided that, how do you say this? Her eyes are bigger than her stomach.
You're talking about Connie. Let me guess. She worked for you and then decided she could do it on her own, so that's what she's doing. Am I right?
It seems to be the case. She has a certain degree of sport, and she has a few fellows she's trying to do something crazy ambitious with, apparently. I got this notice, you see. And she pulls up something on her phone and she holds it out to you.
Yeah, I think she doesn't like touch, but she's sort of looking.
It is a notice for an auction. And it basically states, one time only, you may have complete access to the Logan problem. And the auction was to be tomorrow night, is what the date that is it's on there. And it's and there's a little sort of I think there's even like a little signature at the bottom that says the Tempest.
Okay. Yeah, she leans back.
It's not good for your employees to suddenly decide they're comic book villains. It's not very good at all.
So Connie's the Tempest.
I don't know. Either that or she thinks that what she's going to do is the Tempest, or she's just a fan of these words and she doesn't know what they mean. I don't know.
Just a stupid girl getting in over her head. Sounds familiar to me.
Well, she's cleverer than you may think, but she has a good head on her shoulders, but she sometimes forgets that it's there, and that is as easily detached as any other head.
Right. So what is the Logan problem exactly?
What isn't the Logan problem?
Okay, fair.
A lot of people are upset with him. They are very demanding. There's a lot of all this trouble over these anything that anytime he acquires something, and he makes enemies left and right, and
Yes, somebody wants his code, somebody wants money from him, somebody wants him dead, apparently, in the basement of your old establishment.
Yeah. So, I am going to assume I'm not. I feel as though as it's an auction, there's probably many other people who got these texts, and I think perhaps what I would be interested to see, as you currently have the ball, as it were, is if you have a let me think which thing she wants to do here.
Okay, I'll give you some time to think.
Because there are a couple of possibilities. Yes. On the one hand, I am kind of wondering if you for the most part, it's rather messy. I got out of all of that a while back, and I don't think I really want to have to deal with more of these problems. Unless, of course, you've decided to become the auctioneer.
So the the auction for the Logan problem is an auction for Logan himself. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not interested in profiting off of my client other than what my client will pay me.
You know, if you are interested in payment, then I do have some resources in that regard. I could probably, outmatch whatever he wanted. If you were interested in perhaps making a sale of sorts.
While I am interested in getting paid for my time and significant effort, I'm also interested in the truth and in justice and in doing my job. And I don't think I'd be doing my job if I sold Mr. Logan to you, as you seem to be implying.
Well, it was worth a shot. All right. That being the case, then, perhaps I can otherwise engage your services legitimately.
What, you want me to get rid of Connie?
Well, I do not harbor an illusion that you're in that business, necessarily. But, I think that, again, as you have the ball, you can perhaps influence matters to a certain extent so that, well, to be perfectly frank, I am kept out of it.
I could do that.
Of course, you have given me a bit of an idea.
Cut
But
to the
I
chase,
don't know if it's the kind
Yegorovich.
of...
Please cut to the chase, Yegorovich. I don't have all night.
Yeah. This, it just occurs to me that, and again, I don't know precisely where your sensibilities lie with respect to this, but, we could also, if you wish, Connie to no longer be a problem, I could perhaps arrange for that if you wish to, play a bit of cat and mouse with her.
I don't think I really have the stomach for, getting rid of people in that way.
All right.
I think
well,
I'd best.
That's good. That's good, actually. That's refreshing. I
Hand her over to authorities.
see. Yeah.
Once I have significant evidence, I can get rid of her and leave you out of it. If you can get me anything that definitively proves what she's done. She's new at this, I take it, so I can't imagine she hasn't left a paper trail or something of the sort.
Oh, there are things I can get you. She's, as far as paper trail, yes, there are certainly a couple of things I can get you. As there was much. Now, she was quite thorough, but I too am thorough. One must always keep an eye on one's employees.
Smart.
All right. Well, I will send you some things.
You know where my office is.
Oh, quite. She just sort of points. Yes, also. And she digs in her purse for a moment. And she takes out a compact. And she says, "Well, this is a gift for your friend. It turns out we had some left. These never got released. She might like it."
Yeah, she takes it and kind of opens it up.
Yeah, it's makeup. It's
Is it? Yeah. Thank you. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. I actually also have something for you. And she pulls out the gun out of her purse and pushes it across the table. I would no longer like to have this in my possession, and I believe it's yours anyway. I just had to borrow it.
She looks at it. Well, oh, they've not been. What did they put this in the freezer? This was in the freezer, wasn't it?
It was in the freezer. Yes.
It's
Probably for
they
the
didn't
best.
They didn't take it apart first before they put in. They left all the. Well.
They're
Yeah,
new,
they're-
and you've left them. Give them time to learn.
Yeah, that place is just going downhill ever since, I tell you. Well, very well. I shall send you. You should have something within a few hours, and hopefully this will have been dealt with. I will say one thing, though, she says, and she pulls out a card and passes it over toward you on the table. Should things go south, and you decide that... And I sincerely hope this will not be the case. But should you decide that you may need to sacrifice some of the integrity that you are of, which I am quite impressed, then feel free to call.
Yeah, I think she does take she takes the business card and puts it in her purse.
And it has on the back, it's actually got her a number written in that's actually her personal cell.
Yeah, she kind of looks up and says, "Trust me, it's tempting. If I decide to unload my problem, I'll let you know."
Well, what you're doing is I have engaged a number of people who do your job before. It is very difficult. It takes quite a toll, especially when you are dealing with the circles I have to deal with. So, while I think it is important and good for you to be able to maintain what integrity you can, things do happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of things happen. Is that it? Anything else you want? I don't need any money. All I ask for is the proof.
Very well. As you wish. And no, unless you want another drink, I can get another drink.
No, I think I've had quite enough drinks tonight.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck, she says, holding up her glass. You're going to need it. Drinks it.
Thanks.
I think
Pleasure
that's-
doing business. And I think she downs hers and walks out of the private room. That went better than I expected.
Danny is now sloshed.
Well, you just got in a fight. I didn't want to hit you again immediately. All right. So here we are at the end of this chapter, and if you cannot make a legal move, crime resolution occurs. Roll. It says 1 red die and 1 of another color. So basically, the way we did this before, I think it was the first d6 was across the top, second d6 was down the left,
Yes.
and we'll see where that lands. Oh,
Okay, roll.
I just missed something. Oh well.
Just missed what?
Nothing. I got a message. I missed it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, so 1. So it's in the 1 column.
Mm-hmm. And 1.
Samuel Logan is guilty. All right. So, if there is a name in that space, so go ahead and put the pawn there.
Okay.
And if there is a name in that space, that character committed one of the unresolved crimes. And since this is you have jurisdiction right now. If there is a funny thing, actually, I found there was something I did wrong a couple of last episode when I was winning. I should have actually been the one moving the pawn afterward for those particular chapters. But it matters, and putting the names in. But it does not matter. Not now. If there is a name,
We forgive you.
Hmm?
We forgive you.
Thank you. If there is a name in that space, that character committed one of the unresolved crimes. Choose an unresolved crime and write the selected character's name down as the perpetrator. So, Samuel Logan is guilty either of one of these 2 murders or of faking this blackmail, potentially, or blackmailing himself in some way. So one of those 3 things, and you get to decide which one it is.
So I don't think he's faking his blackmail.
Okay.
And I don't think oh, I'm torn. So I think, and let me know if this doesn't track with all the information that we have, because I might have lost a few things as we've gone along. But I think Logan thinks that he murdered Hagen.
Well, yeah, I easily could think that. Now, the funny thing about this is that this tells us who it actually is. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Danny figures it out right then and there. It's possible. The player writes down the name of the blank, so that you may decide.
No, I changed my mind.
Okay.
I think Logan murdered whoever it was that was in the roses.
Okay. Still at it then. All right. So the perp is Logan. So Logan is guilty of having killed that person at Roses, at the Roses.
Mhm.
And he tried to frame Poppy for it.
You might, yeah. I mean, that was entirely.
I mean,
possible.
that's why Poppy thinks that she probably did it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that is apparently what happened, and like I said, you may decide that the investigator figures it out at the same time as crime resolution, or you may save this revelation for a more dramatic moment later in the game. And so we're going to move on to the next chapter here, as this is going on.
Okay.
And we try to figure out how you figure this out.
Oh, I'm gonna make him confess.
No, I think the dominoes
What do
are
you mean
about
this
to
is
fall.
broken?
Yeah, accused.
Tell me.
J'accuse!
Because I think she goes right back across to, back to her office.
Oh, how long did that conversation take then?
It felt like something like 20 minutes. but
Yeah, half an hour, I would
half
say.
an hour, maybe.
Cool.
And of course, Lulu, you are now the authority, so.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think Dr. Alexander, if that's right, would probably be there. Imagine she would have called him straight away and been like, Logan has a broken leg. He's unconscious. I don't know what I'm doing. Recovery position? So I imagine he's probably there as well in the office.
Yeah, I think Danny marches into her office, closes the door, pulls the blinds, pulls her desk chair over to where Logan and Dr. Alexander are probably, I imagine Dr. Alexander's trying to like see to him in some way. I don't know doctorly things. And she sits down backwards on the chair and looks over to Dr. Alexander. How's he doing? How severe is it?
Dr. Alexander, do you want to take over?
Yes, so I'm sorry, spaced out for a moment.
That's okay.
So Dr. Alexander, he's still impeccably dressed, as if he was coming in from an outing, and he's got a big professional-looking leather bag filled with the equipment that he needs, as well as a first aid kit. And he looks like he looks very dispassionate about treating Mr. Samuel Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys don't look like they want to talk to each other.
No,
And Poppy's probably making things worse.
Yes.
Like, oh, what's that?
Yeah. So you'll see that Dr. Alexander is quite precise in using his scalpel to cut away the pant leg in order to get a better look at the broken thing. He's not exactly gentle about it either. The limb has been jostling around just a tad, which will cause quite a bit of pain. Is there like would he have brought one? No, probably wouldn't have. Is there any IKEA furniture in the office by any chance?
Oh, this is all IKEA furniture. I
Okay.
think except for the desk, everything is IKEA furniture.
There's
Okay.
like one vintage piece left from her mom, and the rest is like.
Yeah, like the desk is like the vintage oak desk.
And I
then
imagine Poppy's been there enough that she's just started bringing her own stuff as well.
Vivian repossessed
Redecorating.
everything. When she left, Vivian repossessed everything but the desk and cauliflower.
Mhm.
So he's going to casually pick up one of the little cheap coffee tables and using a swift kick break off two of the legs in order to use it as a splint.
Okay.
You'll notice that fall of particle board remnants started fluttering about a little bit.
Yeah.
And he goes, I would have brought, an immobilizer, but you can't afford my fees, so this will have to do.
You are absolutely correct. And
Isn't Logan.
whatever you're going to charge, Mr. Logan is going to pay. Isn't that right?
Before
Marcus,
he can
why do you gotta
respond.
add insult to injury?
Oh, good. I'm glad that we have an understanding here. And you'll notice, I'm like, wow, you've been walking around on this broken leg. It's needs to be set. I'd offer you something to bite down hard on, but and then he's just going to wrench the leg in order to get it set.
He's like, ah!
Poppy screams.
Yeah, I think Danny kind of holds out her hand and goes, hold off on that for a second, Doc.
Can I at least have a hit of that bottle first? Jeez.
You can have the whiskey when you tell me about the roses. What are you keeping from me?
Christ, this again.
Yeah, she's got the bottle and she's like dangling it.
I can't believe I'm helping a Sullivan interrogate someone again.
Again?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Danny kind of smiles at that, like she's doing a good job.
You're already in hip deep at this point, aren't you? I was trying to protect you.
Oh, that went out the window when you hired me. You don't hire someone you're trying to protect, not a private investigator.
I mean, that's how I do all the rest of my business.
In fact, you put me in more danger by not telling me what I needed to know, like your fancy pants little fencing club.
He just sort of shakes his head. They're bad.
I was there, Logan. That place is a mess.
They're bad
I think
people.
Poppy might have murdered someone.
He just sort of looks in. They're very bad people. You don't want to get involved with them.
Well, it's too
Not a
late.
bad person.
She turns, no, Poppy, you're not a bad person. You're. It was a complicated situation. You're fine.
What do you want to know?
I want to know what happened with Wendell Hagen. I want to know who you know there, what you did there. That might have pissed somebody off.
Okay, look. I've only been going back recently because I've been trying to keep things under wraps. I didn't want to go back. I didn't mean to do this. But Hagen is... Okay, so... I won something from Hagen in a duel a while back. And, the price was, he says, gesturing at his chest, you know. So neither of us came out of that duel very well. And I don't, now, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to be consistent at this point. I'm remembering a thing. I don't know if I'm remembering the right thing as to where Logan's head would be with this, but he will say.
That's fine. We'll make it work.
I don't know if he survived it or not. But I won a bundle of different things, rights to a few different things from them. And my understanding was that he was no longer around at this point, because I heard that he was no longer with us, which is why I thought he was no longer relevant or could have been doing the blackmail. But among those things was Lit Katie.
You got Lit Katie from Hagen.
Yes. He had the rights to it, and he put it up in the duel. Obviously, we couldn't draw up. Obviously, there were issues with drawing up legal papers on it.
Obviously.
And afterward, he wasn't, they made him disappear like they make a lot of things disappear. They kind of do it by habit, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. And she sort of pushes the bottle towards him.
He takes it, opens it, takes a big swig out of it. Thank you.
Now, what else did you do there? Were you there the night I was there?
He's just staring down at the bottle right now.
What did you do, Logan?
He takes another quick hit. He sets the bottle down. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to do it. But she challenged me, okay? She challenged me, and I thought I was going to get this whole thing resolved in one go.
Danny turns to Dr. Alexander. Twist the leg.
Lady, you ain't my boss.
Twist it.
Oh, fine. He will do so.
He's like,
Specifics, Logan.
Again, strangely familiar.
God, I hate this, she says.
Okay, fine. Alicia Servano.
So what, you got in a duel with her? You thought maybe she was doing something? She was up to something?
Well, she was up to something. She claimed that she was going to be, that she could make the whole thing go away. The blackmail situation and everything. And I could walk away. But otherwise, they wanted my silence about the club. And so I thought, a duel was the only way out of it. I wasn't planning. I was just going to go first blood. I wasn't planning to kill her.
Son of a gun, Logan, you killed the pop star.
She's not that much of a star these days anymore.
Oh no,
But she was
Dusty does so many articles on her.
But she was going to help you out, and you... Okay, I get it. Duels, weirdness, the roses.
She was going to help me out if I won, and things got heated, and she tried to kill me. We were only going first blood. If she hadn't...
I'm going to guess that she wanted Lit Katie. Whether or not she was actually blackmailing you, I don't know. But I'm going to guess that she did not intend to lose that duel.
I had to defend myself. I thought we were only going first blood. I didn't think she was actually going to try to kill me, but...
So, Poppy, shouldn't you be taking notes? This is like an article of the century.
Poppy, this is all off the record.
Poppy has her iPhone recording what's being said. She's a modern day journalist. And when Danny says this is off the record, she looks at Danny and then back down to her phone. Because this is a big paycheck for her. This is a big deal. And she says,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna keep going, but I promise I won't publish it unless you say it's okay.
We'll talk about that Later.
Danny, I
All
promise
right.
you, I didn't know they were going to involve her. I didn't know that she was your friend. He says, glancing over at Poppy.
It's fine.
I know she was there that night.
She just happened to be in the right place for the right framing.
Is that what they did?
Is that what they did, or is that what you did? Are you trying to skirt the blame here?
I didn't see her after they took her out of the room. I don't know what they did with her, but it makes sense that they would.
I think this is probably the first time you've ever seen Poppy look angry.
Okay. All right. Do you know anything about my mom having anything to do with the Hagen situation? And that is the only thing I want to know about what you know about my mom.
Oh, the stories.
Your mom.
What did you do to Mrs. Sullivan?
Your mom's involved in everything. Everything. And I didn't want you to have to find that out. And I'm sorry.
You know, you could have just hired another detective.
I thought that I was just going to settle things with Viv at first, and then I saw you, and I had this great idea, and there was someone blackmailing me. So I thought maybe that I could do that, and by letting Viv know that you were doing that I thought might make things easier.
She kind of sits back a little bit and rests her hands on like the top of the chair that she's sitting on. Well, I'm not surprised to hear that my mom is involved in everything.
I'm not saying that she's a bad person. She's complicated.
This job is complicated. I get it. I just got offered a large amount of money to hand you over.
Who to?
Do you know? Yegorovich.
Oh, it's the greatest hits tonight.
You just saw her?
Yeah, had a nice drink.
She's here?
Not here in the building. Actually, she sent something along for you, Poppy, and she pulls the compact out of her purse and tosses it over.
Poppy will catch it and flip it over. Is there anything on it? So just...
I'm sorry. That's up to you. Actually, you're the.
Oh, that's right. You're the authority, so.
You're the authority right now. So, if you would like there to be something on it, there can be. But...
How much I was paying attention.
Originally, I did not say there was, but.
Yeah, originally it was just a makeup compact.
Yeah. But you may feel free to tinker with that if you so desire.
I feel like her name is probably engraved on the bottom.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and so she'll tuck it in her pocket quickly. And hold the iPhone out closer. What did she say? Why would she offer that to you?
That's between me and Miss Yegorovich. Either way, if you didn't, you're welcome. And I think she sort of stands up from the chair and walks over to the window. You can finish up whatever you need to do, Doc. Logan will write you a check before he leaves.
Straight cash, homie.
Logan, I assume you're carrying cash.
Yes, absolutely. It's fine.
I'm still on your blackmailing case, so you can stay here, you can go home. But I'll let you know when I find anything else about that. Maybe stay away from your assistant.
Yeah. I guess I sure can pick him.
And stay alive. I won't get paid if you're dead.
Oh, look who's Miss Mercenary all of a sudden.
It's been a long week, Dr. Alexander. I think I've earned my money. And I think that's where we're gonna end that scene.
Okay. So, an interesting thing to note is that I'm having some slight technical difficulties, so it may not be possible to move the pawn right now.
Oh no, yeah, my connection to the server has been interrupted.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing with me. So, however, I do have I have the grid in front of me, so from the last time, so you can still roll in some fashion.
Yeah, I might have a
You have
D6.
these cubes that they apparently make.
I just have a plastic bag of dice. It's fine.
I have a D6.
Yeah, so you basically just decide which one's the red die and which one's the not red die, and
I'll just roll it twice and
feel free. All right, so.
I actually lost the crime grade because I made the mistake of refreshing.
So did I. Just that I'm
Oh, it might
fine.
be back. Is it back?
I'll refresh again and see. I think it's back a little bit. Yep, it's back.
Yay!
Okay,
You can
I'll
feel free
save
to-
the die just in case, but I'll roll with the roll 20.
Cool.
Okay, that's a 4, so that's the center column.
Yep.
And that's a 6. That's Constance.
Connie. Okay. Well, feel free to put the pawn down there. And so, Constance is guilty of either murdering Hagen or blackmailing Logan.
I want to say both, but I'm gonna go with
Could be both.
I'm gonna go with for right now it's gonna be blackmailing Logan.
Okay.
That seems like
Yeah. And that's actually if Hagen is dead, because we haven't even fully said one way or the other whether Hagen is really dead or not.
right.
Murdered, attempted murder.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know.
attempted murder, and there may be. Yeah.
All three.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause so many could have been killed later. Who knows? All right. So.
It was Danny all along.
Yeah. No, wait. We're not playing that variant. There is a variant where you can do a dirty investigator, but we've not done that. So Constance Dash is blackmailing Samuel Logan, and so that is something that that you will discover very shortly if you have not already at this point. And the authority gavel goes to Anino.
Oh gosh.
And so, where are we going next?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm debating whether I want to talk to Constance herself. That seems like a bad idea.
Hey, mobster, what's up?
I know.
I mean, you've had one of those already, so I don't know.
I know. Why not push your luck?
I think so I think we see Danny spending time sort of looking over, and this is, I want to say this is the next day, probably the next afternoon. I think Alexandra had some materials mailed over, and I think Danny is sort of pulling things out of this manila envelope. Actually, I want to say she just dumps out like a flash drive out of this envelope, and she plugs it into her computer, and she's sort of scrolling through any of the files that are on there. It looks like audio files. I think she listens to what sounds like a raw audio file of the threatening call without the distortion. And it's Connie's voice.
Oh, yeah. So you're saying the Tempest is coming.
Mm-hmm. It sounds really goofy without the distortion. And I think she... I think she finds like recorded conversations between Alexandra and Constance. And while Danny knows she can't use that if she wants to keep Alexandra out of it, I think it is talking about Connie getting hired on as Logan's assistant and sort of talking through what she finds. And I think she even finds files from Connie's hard drive of things copied over from Logan's computer. Probably not like everything, but maybe like bits and pieces of Lit Katie that she's tried to like put together. And I don't think she even calls Logan. I think she just texts him. It's your assistant. I'll send you the files once you send me my payment. And sort of fires off the message.
I know more.
And I think I don't think she finds anything else on the flash drive unless Anino, you have any thoughts on that?
No, I was trying to consider whether or not she would Danny or Constance would encounter each other again. But
depends. Does Constance know where Danny works?
Well, I would assume that she could.
If Alexandra does, then.
And yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
See, I was going to try to see whether or not Danny would try to track down Constance. And then my idea, just to stir things up, would be Danny finding Constance, and Constance happens to be meeting with Danny's mother.
Oh, crap. Okay, well, I know. So I am
Sorry.
Yeah.
I am interested to see how this plays out. So I would say that Danny would. One of the things she's been considering is going and seeing her mom.
May I make a recommendation, real quick?
Mm-hmm.
that this be just given A, the time, and B, the fact that the server connection just got interrupted again, that maybe this is just something where you're going to overhear something, but you're not necessarily going to get into direct conflict.
That's fair. Okay, I think.
Okay, so maybe there are some additional recordings there of maybe discussions between what appears to sound like her mom's voice and Constance about planning out or carrying out blackmail.
Okay, like maybe Vivian giving Constance certain information that she would know about Logan because they're.
Yes, exactly. They
Gotcha.
were colleagues at one point.
Colleagues with benefits?
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Should we play that out? Do we need details on that? Or
I don't think so, unless you want
I
to
don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Unless you wanted to roleplay a sort of, between Viv and Danny about that later on or something.
Maybe towards the end, but
Right. Well,
I think I'm good with leaving that there.
all right then. Speaking of towards the end, you get to roll one more time, as it's the end of that scene, presumably, unless anyone else wants to do anything with this chapter. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
And
I'm gonna roll the physical
Yeah,
dice
yes.
since the servers.
yeah.
So that's a 2,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a 4.
Samuel Logan.
Again?
So Logan apparently is also guilty of killing Hagen.
Can't believe Poppy didn't do it. The hashtag is right.
You're right.
But we didn't think Poppy killed Hagen, right?
No.
We thought she killed the other person.
So we are at an interesting point.
Yeah.
Because now, the way this works is that when you, if all the crimes are resolved after crime resolution and you've used all the crime cards, which we have, the game is about to end. So, we enter the finale. When all the crimes have been declared and resolved, the game enters its final phase. At this point, you play out the last sequence called the finale. This sequence lets you tie up your loose ends and wrap up the story. It says here the authority for the finale sequence is whichever player has the most dice in their dice pool, which we refreshed, so it's probably either me or Lulu. I can do it if you want, or unless Lulu desperately wants to.
Nope, you can do
Alright.
it.
All right. So the investigator proposes a finale sequence that the authority cannot block, though it can be appealed. Generally speaking, it uses the same rules as an investigation sequence, except if you want a conflict in there, then there's a little bit of a difference. There's like double the violence. So it depends on how that's going to go. But basically, the way that I like to view this myself is, those... this is the part, I think, where the investigator finally puts everything together. And it's kind of the... we already kind of had a J'accuse moment, but this is where basically everything comes into place. And we are ending our story. So, I ask you, investigator, how do you think... what do you think is happening in this last scene?
Well, I'm curious if there's anything you want to appeal, if you had any seeds or ideas. But I think see, I'm trying to figure out how because Logan already kind of admitted to injuring Hagen.
I mean, we could say that he ended up following through and killing Hagen anyway later, after he discovered that Hagen might have survived.
Yeah. It's entirely possible he killed Hagen this morning.
So I think I want to say that oh, I'm so stuck. I'm so stuck on this one.
Why don't we... I had a thought about doing it, doing something that I realized, no, wait, that won't work.
Oh,
You got it?
I think I might know how to put it all together. So I think we see Danny in her office putting together this large file. And she's putting in, we see photographs of the club and photographs of the roses. And I think even like a transcript of Poppy's audio from her interrogation with Logan.
It's like a little pink sticky note that's like, see, you can trust me.
Yeah. And I think she's putting everything all together. I'm going to try to, since, we're short on time, I'm going to try to wrap this up in a neat bow. She's putting everything all together. She's got an envelope from Logan addressed to her, filled with cash. She puts it in her desk. And she sort of picks everything up in this like bulky file at this point. And she does leave out everything from Miss Yegorovich's name. And I think we see her, and it's probably about a week later, walking back to the police station to meet up with Detective Cruz. And as she's walking in, I think she sees, as she's confidently strolling past everyone, I think she sees Logan being taken away in handcuffs.
You see Detective Cruz throw you a little wink.
Yeah. And I think she walks over to Cruz's desk while she's walking away with Logan, kind of peers at the file, and looks over how Logan sought out Hagen after the fact, suspecting that Wendell was in cahoots with Constance because of the letters, which are also in the file, and killed him when he came to visit Constance, and or came to shore to visit Constance. And I think Danny just kind of smirks and sets this big case file. She kind of slams it down on the desk, pulls out a Post-it note, pastes it on the top, and writes, "Did your job for you," and leaves the police station.
That's great.
Excellent. And there we are. That's the final shot, I think. So walking out of the police station, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That is Dirty Secrets. This was delightful. Thank you so much, everybody.
This was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did a novella. Excellent. This was great. This was really great. I really enjoyed this whole thing, and I'm just so pleased that we had to think we were able to generate characters that had dynamics with each other, and it was really awesome seeing all that interact and seeing that web we wove come to life. And there's still actually, I'm actually curious as to how things are going to stand between her and her mom from this point on. But
oh man, it's going to be as most mother-daughter relationships are, or some are. A little strained, a little weird. She still loves her mom, but she knows too much.
That's true. So anything?
She knows way too much.
Every time she takes on a client, she's like, "Wait, do you know my mom?"
Yeah. Too much is going on with her. Wow, damn. Well, man, thanks for playing, everyone. I am elated that we have made it to the end of the first short campaign for this 1 month campaign for this channel, and I am just so delighted at how it came out. I'm gonna go ahead. We'll go in. Once again, I'll just go around, ask folks to say what they thought of either stuff from this session to the story overall, the game overall. Any last thoughts you have about anything, feel free to say whatever you like. And also, of course, where people can find you online, and if you've got anything coming up that we should know about. And I think I am going to go with my fellow authorities first, if that's all right, and then come back around to our investigator. So let us, I'll just go the same order as we started. So let us begin with Lulu.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you guys so much for playing with me. This was so much fun. What do I think of the story overall? I thought it was not as dark as I was expecting, but honestly, like I really appreciated it. I think it was I think it was really exciting to watch. I loved Jenny's ex in the end. That was good fun. And but also Viv's story. Cracky, that was unexpected but awesome. If you want to see more of me, you can see me on Tuesdays on the Almighty Tales channel at 8 p.m. GMT plus 11. So it's an Australian Aussie D&D show. And now you can also catch me on Winged Horizon playing Stars Without Numbers on Fridays.
Excellent. Well, it was an absolute delight having you here, Lulu, and just the relish with which you picked up the characters and very quickly got into them was wonderful. And you were able to think of things so fast, and I really appreciated that because I got stuck quite frequently.
I'm Devo. We didn't get into more of the Alex and Poppy relationship, but yeah. Maybe in a sequel.
Maybe. You never know. You never know. It was awesome. Thank you very much for coming and playing this with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It was wonderful. Let us move on to Anino.
Hey, yeah, so this was a lot of fun. I think after I got a message from Jim saying that there was an opening and I could join in, and then I accepted, and then I sort of realized at the end, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm getting in over my head because I had only done one-shots up to this point. So trying to do something in this setting seemed a little bit intimidating because it was off my usual comfort zone, but I figured I wasn't going to grow if role-playing if I didn't try it. So glad I did. I'm glad that it turned out that I could use the same amount of preparation that I did for my one-shots as I do for this show, and that was absolutely nothing as it turned out. So yeah, I think it was a good growing experience for me. I really liked the way the characters interacted, and just being able to play off everybody's suggestions and also be able to throw in some surprises here and there that made everybody laugh and then really get more engaged with the story. I thought that was pretty cool. You can reach me on my social media at Anino Gaming. I got rid of the X in that name.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so you'll catch me there. I'm friends with Jim, so you'll probably see me posting on his tweets and all that stuff. I host a Sunday show on the Extra Life for Kids channel called Dinner Stream Theater, in which I am sort of still trying to figure it out, but for the moment I am playing role-playing games or story-based games badly, and trying to pass it off as classic shows on PBS. So if you're interested in tuning in, certainly feel free. Happy to engage you guys. Apart from that, I don't know, Jim, have you made your announcement about Dungeon World yet?
Why, it's coming. The full cast will be announced tomorrow, but I think one thing I can say is that if you would like to see Anino again, come back next week, because he'll be on it.
I don't have any idea what I'm playing yet, so, if you want to throw suggestions to me on Twitter, see how well I can roll with it, so.
Awesome. And it was great having you, and also I just loved how you were able to just come out with connections that I would never have been able to think of, and just forge everything together where it needed to be put together, and I think that worked really well. So I'm really glad we had you. And now finally, let us go to our glorious investigator, Dingo.
Hi. This was really fun. This was really great. I was really worried that I wouldn't be good at being an investigator, but I think it turned out amazing. And your guys' ability just to come up with these details and these connections, and your guys' ability to put me in difficult situations was really amazing. And everyone playing off of each other and playing off of Danny was really great and fun. One thing I do kind of regret is not getting into Viv's story a little bit more, because that seems interesting, but maybe one day we'll do a prequel with one of Viv's cases. That'd be kind of fun. Who knows? But thank you so much for having me. Thank you for playing with me, you guys. You guys were awesome. You can find me on Twitter at Where's My Dingus. This week you can find me tomorrow on Off the Tables channel playing Lady Blackbird campaign, Adventures in the Wild Blue. Saturday, you can find me again on Off the Table playing Ryutama. And then Monday, I don't know. I'm doing other stuff. But that's it for the rest of the week.
Yay! Well, Dingo, I always have a good time playing games with you.
Thank you.
I'm so pleased that we were able to work this out, that you're able to come back and play the detective, because I really I wanted to see what you would do in that role, and I was not disappointed. Just the way that you were able to take to things and put things together was brilliant, and it made this story so wonderful. And so I'm really glad that we did this.
Me too. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm always delighted when when we get to do games together, and I'm also just ridiculously pleased that you've joined Urban Shadows as well, so that it can continue. So thank you again so much for coming and putting up with us throwing noir tropes at you every week.
It was awesome. It was not putting up with. I loved it.
As always, folks, feel free, as you're here, feel free to post any links you wished in the chat. Whilst I'm rambling on for a minute here, I've got bullet points this time. I didn't script the whole thing out, so I'm going to try to see how that works. But feel free to put your links and all that in there if you want. One day I will get a bot, and that will become easier. Need to get on that. But once again, for anyone wondering, I'm Jim Ryan, and this is my channel. I like this game quite a lot. I think that I really wish they would release a second edition of it now, in light of everything that's happened in RPGs since then, because I think it could be dynamite. I feel there are many ways in which I kind of want to hack the hell out of this system and do kind of other things with it. I feel like there are ways if when I come back to it at some point, I think there are a couple of things at least that could be done to make things now knowing what we do about RPGs that could make it flow a little bit more easily, and could get potential for some really cool stuff. But this was a really excellent game. I recommend it to one and all. It is by Seth Ben-Ezra, and is available from his site or from DriveThruRPG. I do strongly suggest folks check it out, because if you like noir tropes, this is it. This is the thing. As they kind of toward the beginning said, gave the Chandler quote. I'm going to come back to it and just say once again that you get stuck, you just have someone come in pointing a gun, and that's pretty much what this is. This was all people coming in pointing guns, and we figure out what that means later. So I was delightful to get to play through that. But in general, you can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and the most recent short story I've released. So, what's happening here? So, tomorrow is Friday. So, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays I play video games. Fridays it's in the afternoon, Saturdays and Sundays it's in the mornings. This Saturday we are going to come back to the cold ruins of Last Life. I believe we're actually going to do it this time. That's a setting for Dungeon World where we're all playing undead. I get to play my Spectral Paladin again, whom I'm very pleased with. I definitely want to see what happens, because we're about to ransack Castle Oblivion, for goodness sake. Well, ransack's a strong word. We're about to enter a trap, and I very much want to see what happens when we spring it. This Sunday, we'll have the first one-shot of March. That's going to be A Penny for My Thoughts. That is it's a jamless game by Paul Tevis about where we're all playing amnesiacs, trying to help each other remember what happened to us and why we're in an institution or what have you, why we're trying to why we lost our memories. And so I think that's going to be pretty cool. I'm very much looking forward to that, since you pretty much sculpt each other's stories. So feel free to tune in for that at around 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Let's see, as we progress through the week, Tuesday nights, I'm back on Urban Shadows on Off the Table with Dingo and a host of wonderful folks. We have two concurrent campaigns going. The one that's at 7 Eastern is the Sprawl, and the one that's at 9-ish something Eastern, 9:30 Eastern afterwards, is the Drag that we're in. And that's the continuing on from where we left off the first season, and it's gonna be interesting. We had our session 0 and things got really traumatic already, so I'm looking forward to the downward spiral. And then of course Wednesday we're going to be starting up the March's short campaign. That's going to be Dungeon World, and so that will be Wednesday early evening, I believe it is. And so looking forward to that. I'm going to be bashing it together with some stuff from folks who've made some tools for Dungeon World, and for improving up a thing, and also bits of Integrated Age, actually. So it may lean slightly more Conan-ish. We'll see. But I'm very much looking forward to playing that through for a number of sessions. So sign-ups are still going right now for Life on Mars. The other two, I think, we're pretty much full up. The other things that I've got sign-ups for, Dungeon World sign-ups are closed. A Penny for My Thoughts, I think the forum is still open, but we've pretty much, I think, got the crew we're going to have. But if you want to get in on Life on Mars, which is about the first manned mission to Mars, a story game about how that changes the crew and what their relationships with each other, the sign-ups are still available for that. You can go to the sign-up link down below, or just go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game Sign Up, and you will find it there. As always, beginners are welcome. when we go to the end card, I am going to raid over on Tales from the Grim because they're playing Dungeon of the Mad Mage, a variant on it, as it were, as Greg's just going nuts with it, and I'm very delighted to see that. I actually got to play with them on their channel last night in a one-shot. It was dynamite. So I am very much looking forward to seeing how things go there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that after we go to the end card. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, folks. I really appreciate your support on this, the first of the short campaigns, and may there be ever more. Take care, folks, and I will see you all of a sudden.